Alright, this is an example of a 45, 45, 90 triangle, and it says to determine what x and y are. Now, it tells us that it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle, no label to the problem, but let's talk about how we know if we're just given the picture. If we're just given the picture, we know that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle because it's a right triangle, first of all. That gives us the 90, and it's isosceles. And since it's both of those, a right isosceles triangle, then we know it's 45, 45, 90. So I'm going to write this over here. Right isosceles triangle is a 45, 45, 90. And that's important to know, okay? Anytime you see a right isosceles triangle, you should think in your head, well, that's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right. We're asked to determine what x and y are. So we know that one of the sides is 5 root 2, and we need to figure out what x and y. Well, they're marked congruent, the two legs to the triangle, and since one side is 5 root 2, that means x would have to be the same thing, because they're congruent. So x is also 5 root 2. Now to figure out y, we're given the leg of the triangle, and if we're given the leg to figure out the hypotenuse, we do the leg times root 2. So we have 5 root 2 times root 2. We need to multiply these together. Well, there's a 1 out in front of that second root 2. 5 times 1 is 5, and root 2 times root 2 is 4. Root 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So we end up with 5 times 2, which is 10. And that's the answer for y. So x is 5 root 2 because the legs are congruent to each other, and the hypotenuse y ends up being 10. Now that's an example where you're given the leg and you need to figure out the other leg and the hypotenuse, okay? If you have questions, rewatch this quick video or go back and rewatch the video on 45, 45, 90 triangles.